I feel depressed, moody too, lachrymose. I don't know why, I don't know why I have these feelings I can't describe, but I'll bet the Germans have a word for it. But I'll bet the Germans have a word for it. I know that I'll succumb to it. I'm too glad to call it quit. I'm too glad for my
Okay, there you go. That was, Tom, what the hell was that song called anyway?
That was called The Germans Have a Word for It.
Right, the Germans. And what is this thing with the Germans and you?
Well, you know, you might as well get on their side as fast as you can. That's the old joke, isn't it, David? But, well, you know, they've just done an awful lot for everybody. And so we have a lot of German friends and we kid about the past.
There's a lot of Germanic references in your songs. I mean,
can never get enough.
Yeah, Luftwaffe Girl and Papa's got the brand new Lederhosen.
Yeah. Well, that was a deliberate thing because so many bands lately, you know, when that was recorded, when the band was still going, which it's not anymore.
Oh my God, no.
Thank God. So, but I mean, at the time there were so many other bands, like you had, you know, the Dayglow Abortions, another Victoria band. A lot of their songs seemed to be about Greece, you know, and Pigment Vehicle was an old band that they split up after one, you know, well, let's not go into those problems. They've been well documented. But, you know, they did songs about Norway. So we just decided, well, let's do songs about, nobody's doing songs about Germany right now. And all the bands, you know. Well, the Ramones did. But most, you know, so people have been doing songs about other countries for a long time. But just nobody wanted to touch Germany. And we thought, well, why not?
Touch the Germans. Reach out.
Mm-hmm. With a prong.
And how does it go in Germany when you tour there with the Germans? Are they sensitive about their national image?
No,
not
it's
really.
lost on them.
No.
The first tour we played the song you played, The Walk in the Black Forest, and nobody got the joke. And then the second tour we did a lounge version of It's a Long Way Back to Germany by the Ramones, and nobody got the joke. So it was, well, it amused us.
But there were people there to get the joke. It wasn't like there was nobody there. That was the reason.
No, it wouldn't have been that.
Oh, heaven forbid, no.
So what would you guys like to hear from this vast opus of work we have here?
I'd like to hear somebody phoning me up and saying they've covered a song and that there's a check in the mail. But,
I was just going to say, I'd like to hear...
Can you hum a few bars to that one?
I'd like to hear from Quentin Tarantino and have him say that he's going to put the song Big Regrets in his next movie, which apparently, if Nick Lowe is any indication, will make me more money than I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, we did a show... years ago, we did a show... Another band, I was playing did a show in Portland, and there was some guy from the band TSOL, and he was really happy. He said, I'm so happy because Slayer covered a song I wrote. I haven't made a dime in the music business ever, and I just got a royalty check for $60,000, and it's just the first one, and the record is just now starting to sell. So that's the idea. I think that's the dream of every person. I'm not, I think personally I'd like to have as much money as possible and to be as far away from people, students as possible. That's my thing.
Great.
Thank you.
And on that note, maybe Yngwie Malmsteen will cover this particular track, which I was really glad to take a listen to because I hadn't had the pleasure of perusing this fine piece of work. So, seeing as you guys won't choose a song, I will. The generic children's song, a la Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, this song was
originally... Would you care to comment?
This song was originally going to be called A Mouthful of Babies, but
yeah.
it was being covered by...
and the Germans wouldn't have liked that at all.
No, I don't think so.
No, it doesn't translate smoothly.
Okay, well, let's take a listen to it.
Deep, deep down in the Magic Valley lies the land of the little folk. They don't have bones, they're made of jelly. So they can't work, because they're always broke. They don't have names, they don't have arms. Their voices sound like smoke alarms. Oh, sure, they have numbers and ears and toes, and non-ascendant testicles, but...
My Brother's Kids Are a Waste of Sperm, preceded by a generic children's song a la Yngwie Malmsteen. Those tracks are both from the show business giant's self-aggrandizement Keeps Us Going. Who put this thing out for you?
That came out on a Dutch label called Smoof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was in 2000.
So how did the show business giants come to be, Tom?
Well, okay, the name was about 1987, I think. It was inspired years and years ago. I was watching the Mike Douglas show, and which is, most people probably don't remember that or never saw it or don't know who it is, but it was a talk show in the 70s, and he had once a comedian, a favorite comedian of all of ours, I'm sure, Shecky Green.
Mm-hmm.
And before he made his pratfall entrance onto the stage, he was introduced as being a show business giant, and a show business giant. And I thought that would be a good name for a band, because there are no show business giants really, or anybody can be one.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea was this sort of like having start a band that had a rotating lineup, or maybe didn't have a set lineup at all. In fact, we've done shows where we tried, like by the end of the show, was having nobody who started the show on the stage and just having a different band on the stage.
Many shows.
You know, so basically you can just leave, and it's just, you know,
I seem to remember
it's
one.
your turn to jump around and act like an idiot.
I seem to remember one where we just one by one passed off our instruments to various audience members, and they played for a long time.
Yeah.
We all had a beer.
Yeah. So that's sort of like the genesis of that.
Well, I think
It's a
the idea
people's
is that-
band.
Well, everybody is a show business giant.
Yeah.
But you guys actually are show business giants now.
Well, not
I mean,
when the band was formed.
Not when the band was formed, but now. I mean, you're all giants of the industry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what industry? No,
Not for nothing did we name that album Self Aggrandizement. Keeps us going.
Yeah.
Well, who are some of the members that have passed in and out of the band?
Well, you.
Yes. Me. Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, you. Anybody who is on. I mean,
A memorable concert upstairs, I remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did In the Year 2525.
Yeah, Sager and Evans.
Yeah, people wept openly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very moving number.
Yeah, it's right up there with Rock and Roll Heaven by the Righteous Brothers. And, oh, geez, besides the three of us, just a few people from Victoria who have since gone on to greater obscurity. Carolyn Mark, Andy Kerr, John Wright.
Steve Bailey. Marcus
yeah.
Pollard.
Yeah, Steve was in a band called the Neos.
Right.
Actually, the way the band got started is I wrote a bunch of lies about the history of the Neos, and he phoned me up to take me to. We never had knife fights, you know, and stuff like that. And we just got to talking. It was like, well, let's write a bunch of songs about people who we know in Victoria, and just make up stuff, you know, and that's sort of how.
The show business
Yeah.
giants started.
Yeah, and then we, you know, or I quickly realized that, you know, if we wanted to do more and go farther afield, that in-jokes about your hometown are all very well, but, you know, outside of, you know, the very, very small confines of this little hamlet,
They don't really go over in Germany.
no, people
No.
don't know. Or
That's why you have to have in-jokes about Germans.
yeah,
for the,
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's one long parade of in-jokes, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's go right back close to the beginning and listen to this live track, probably recorded at Harpo's or something.
Oh, this is Nanaimo?
This is Nanaimo.
This is September 1989. That's when
Okay.
it was recorded.
Well, here
we
we-
opened for Deja Voodoo. I remember
All
that.
right.
Yeah. One of the greatest bands ever.
They're an exciting band.
Yeah.
Well, here's Nanaimo.
Oh.
This next song was, we weren't going to do it, but it was a personal request by our good friend, Mr. Chris Buck. It's good to see you out of hospital after that lingering illness, and so we're going to do it for you right now. This is a song I swore I'd never do. I remember, oh, never mind, okay. Over on the island, Vancouver Island, you love their hospitality, especially in Nanaimo, and that's why Nanaimo means a heck of a lot to me. Nanaimo, that's how you spell Nanaimo. Just like peaches and ice cream, that little town is right for me. I got a little gal and her name is Jo. She's waiting over there in Nanaimo. No time for cheating, my heart is beating, telling me where to go. The ferry boat is waiting up at Horseshoe Bay. I'll be over there to see her today. Things are gonna happen when I hug her tight. We're gonna paint the town up and do it right. Me and my Jo, I love her so. Way over there in Nanaimo, Nanaimo. Thank you very much.
Oh, I don't know why you want to do Mersey Dose or some goddamn thing.
I don't care what we do, I just don't want to do one of those Ed Dobeck songs. They suck.
Yeah, we did that last time.
Hey, let's do Pygmy. Let's do first Pygmy. 'Cause he's the first Pygmy in space. Now all the
the forests know his face. The capsule, it weren't tall, good thing that he was small. He's the first pygmy in space. He put the Congo on the Atlas, now it's Pygmy Zuberalis, the first pygmy in space. I know it's hard for to absorb it, there's a midget up in orbit, the first pygmy.
What did he say? Hey, wait, hey, turn that thing. Hey, what the hell is that guy saying?
Reporting. Details are sketchy at the moment, but Mothra has taken Tokyo. Authorities are struggling to control the situation, but it's a madhouse. Even as I speak, jet fighters are streaking across the sky toward the monster. Go, baby, go!
All right, Mothra takes Tokyo, and First Pygmy in Space, both from the CD. Let's Have a Talk with the Dead.
That was our cup of coffee with the big leagues.
Yeah, that, well, you know, it's a real fine piece of work, boys.
Yeah, but that was there's a pretty decent story about that album. In about 1994, 95, Virgin Records was trying to get DOA to put on an album, Virgin Records of Canada, and somebody that we knew who worked at a place that we went to sometimes threw a copy of the mixes of Let's Have a Talk with the Dead into this package of the DOA record, and they got, or I was on tour, And I got a phone call, and somebody said, "Oh, Virgin Records wants to put out..." What? I didn't send them anything. I've never sent anything to a major label before. Well, we did, and they want to put it out. And they want to give you some money. So, yeah, I said yes, and we all said yes. And they ended up giving us $11,000, which was great. So we paid back, all our recording costs to each other, and then we still had a bit of money left over, which was immediately spent on things. And then they wanted us to make a video, and they hooked us up with a guy who talked a lot about production values. And we sort of thought, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we just we'll just make a video, then we'll put all the names of the songs into a hat and pull them out, and then append that piece of music to the video, and we'll put out that. And he kept talking about production values. So we thought, well, why don't we just form a human pyramid or something like that for a minute and a half and film that? And they didn't seem too interested, and then they wanted us to put up money. And then shortly thereafter, our album was deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
90 days after it was released.
And then it took forever to get hold of it.
Yeah, well, part of the deal was that we, which is a pretty standard contract thing, is there's like a 7-year period where you're not allowed to re-release it on another label. And although at that time it just pertained only to CD, so I suppose in some instances we could have put it out in a different form, or format. But there are no different formats, or there certainly were at that time.
Right.
So then it finally came out. I think they just forgot, when it was released less than 7 years later on the same Dutch label that put out Self-Aggrandizement. And
I think what happened was...
And I thought it was a fig.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fellow that thought we were really great at Virgin, pretty much the minute our record came out, was immediately fired. And then our file landed on somebody's desk who didn't know who we were.
And didn't give a...
That was it. But we did get our album cover on the cover of the EMI Fall '95 catalog, right next to Sgt. Pepper.
Really?
Yeah.
That was. I have a copy at home that I cherish. That and the Black Spot by DOA were also on the cover.
Oh yeah, and there was a some sort of compilation CD that they put out, and there was a band called P on it, which featured Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And our song was on after that. I think they did. I Got a Crush on Wendy Mesley.
Yeah.
And they also. No, maybe this was a different thing, because the Hanson Brothers, another band I'm in, was also on Virgin very briefly, and they gave us, besides a bunch of money, which we very gleefully accepted, was pajamas, Virgin Records pajamas.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I gave mine to my dad, and he still has his. And Rob Wright still has his Virgin Record pajamas, which he wears all the time. He takes them on tour with him. He leaves them everywhere, but people manage to look after him and get them again for him.
I'd kill for a pair of Virgin Records pajamas.
And Show Business Giants are on hiatus or in hibernation, or
they're morphing.
They're morphing.
Yeah,
and,
I don't know.
You're currently working on a solo record.
Yeah, I'm just actually
currently as in right this second.
Yeah.
Just doing recording with a. It's an older guy who used to work with I think CJVI in Victoria, repairing the toilets there. A fellow named Tolan McNeil, who's branched off into recording people now.
He's got quite a knack for plumbing.
He does. It's a good thing too. Also, he can really cook a turbot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your recording schedule to come up here, gentlemen. My guests, Tom Holliston and Scott Henderson of the Show Business Giants. And I'm going to take you guys out with a little bit of I Can't Get Russell Johnson off my mind.
Scott should tell you a little bit about this song.
All right,
well,
Scott.
This song was actually on a tape that I found in my vast tape archive of Victoria rock history. And there was an unmarked tape box, which is very rare in my studio because everything is labeled. And so I pulled it out and I was going to erase it, and I put it on my tape machine. And there was a recording of Tom playing in his bedroom many, many years previously, essentially making up songs on the spot while various members of his family came and interrupted him. And so I took this tape and I started to overdub instruments on top of it. And I forget exactly what I did. I might have just sort of snuck it onto a tape or something when Tom wasn't looking. And it proved such a hit that we began to do it in live performance. And it became quite a standard live.
It's a real soulful number live.
It's a heart tugger.
It strikes a chord for sure.
Yeah. And it's also imprints itself on your mind, and you cannot stop singing it. It's just one of those catchy little numbers.
Russell Johnson has his own website now, too.
Yeah.
Actually, Rod and Gun song, a Rod and Gun magazine have named this one of the 10 best makeout songs ever recorded, along with the Shaw Sleeps and Lee Harvey's Grave.
Yeah.
theme from a summer place.
So listeners, make sure your adult diaper is nice and snug before we play this one.
Oh.
Here we go. I can't get Russell Johnson off my mind.
Come here, baby. Sit down beside me and take my hand. I don't want to talk about the tax form anymore. I got the problem, and I need you to help me solve it.
I can't get Russell Johnson off my mind. I can't get Russell Johnson off my mind. Every time I wash my car, every time I wash my hair, oh yeah. Help me. People, help me get him off my mind. People, help me. Help me forget the Professor Mr. Roy Hinckley one more time. People, help me, help me, help me. Someone help me with these straps. They're too tight. I've got to drive sometime. My car, I mean, that is, yes. I can't get Russell Johnson off my mind.
Can't get Russell Johnson off my mind.
Somehow, people, I can't get that Russell Johnson off the top of my head. No.
Every time I wash my car, every time I wash my house, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I keep washing and washing and washing these fucking road girls out the way they should. Baby, help me wash my life, help me wash my hands and my heart and my eyes and my hair. I want to stay messy for you or somebody. I've got to help. I've got to help myself. Is what I'm trying to do. I gotta help myself. Okay, help me. Will you help me? No, I won't help you. I can't help me. Who can we help? We've got to help each other. Get Russell Johnson off our minds.
I can't get Russell Johnson off my mind. The show business giants from Let's Have a Talk with the Dead. My guests in the first half hour of Home Game today have been Scott Henderson and Tom Holliston. They're just about ready to head out the door. My name is David P. Smith. I'm filling in for Rob Pingle today. You're listening to CFUV 101.9 FM, 104.3 on the cable dial. Got to pause for some messages, and we'll be right back with some music for you. So do stay tuned.